politicians, corporations, corporations slash governments, and religion folks. Okay, or people of religion or people associated with religion are probably like are probably the top three things to pretty much hate, okay? At least here in the United States. But on low key, it is a breath of fresh air, or at least it's a good thing to see that one of these three tried to do the right thing, okay? And it's honestly, I remember a while back, Elon Musk made a poll of, oh, who do you trust more, politicians or billionaires? Because he had a dispute with AOC, okay? And the poll came out to they trust billionaires more than politicians, okay? Now, this right here is a perfect example of why people say stuff like that. People agree with stuff like that, okay? Of course, what I'm going to talk about doesn't involve uh, billionaires, but it does involve politicians. I will say that politicians slash governments. Okay, what I want today to. Well, I found out about this a while back, but I completely forgot about it until I just saw it on TikTok, and of course, I had to like get my rant out because this is honestly something that really like irks me because it involves it involves two of the three things that I mentioned, but in this specific situation, one of the two things that I just listed, one of them tried to do the right thing and the other is punishing them. Okay, basically. Okay. So, long story short, I don't know the name of this pastor, but it's a pastor and he was sheltering the homeless, okay? This happened in Ohio and apparently Ohio gets super cold around this time. I don't know. I live in Texas, so I'm not familiar with any other climate like the other states' climate other than the neighboring states like Oklahoma. Again, I live in Texas, but apparently it's cold right now over there in Oklahoma. And of course, this pastor he wanted to home the homeless, okay? Because apparently he doesn't believe in turning his back on people who need help. Which, you know, if you there's people like Kenneth Copeland, I think is his name, who buys private jets for his own wants instead of actually like helping people. You know what I mean? Instead of helping people, he lives a luxurious life openly and defends it. And these delusional people believe the stories he says, like the privacy they need the privacy of the jets because they don't want to be surrounded by demons. It's just like there's people like that, and that's honestly why I listed one of the three, because there's people like Kenneth Copeland who just openly exploit who use their position of power for their own benefit. This is not one of those examples when it comes to religion, okay? This pastor, he wanted to actually do something. He actually wanted to help. He wanted to be an actual good person, okay? And of course, you know, the United States being the United States, again, Ohio, they charged this pastor with 18 charges, and just the even one is enough to be what is the logic behind charging a pastor giving a pastor criminal charges for helping the homeless, okay? What is the logic behind it, okay? You would think that with apparently Oklahoma, apparently Ohio has a problem with opioids, like the opioid epidemic, which I'm not all too surprised, not because it's Ohio, but because that's pretty much the whole United States. Like big pharma pretty much is a cancer to have ever existed. They are the reason why people keep dying of drug overdoses, but of course they don't care. They just care about money. And so hearing that Ohio has this problem really isn't surprising to me, but the fact that Ohio would rather pursue lawsuits for this pastor like sheltering the homeless instead of trying to trying to solve the issue with the issues with their states is just a completely ass backwards thing to do. Okay, and this is another reason, and this is another reason as to why I brought up the billionaire and AOC thing. Okay, with Elon Musk bringing up who do you trust more, billionaires or politicians? Okay, this is honestly, this, at least in my opinion, really shines a light into why people think that way. Okay, like instead of trying to help the homeless again in Ohio, they would rather pursue legal. They would rather pursue legal. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, they would rather pursue lawsuits instead of fixing the issues. Okay, instead, like, it's for someone fixing their issue for them, instead of being like, oh, you know, thank you for sheltering these people who are in need because like it's super cold outside, like it's going to be a rough winter, like thank you so much. They would rather sue him, you know what I mean, give him 18 charges, which again, in my opinion, like there is no real reason to make it illegal to shelter homeless people. Okay, like churches, for example. He wanted to do the right thing. In reality, like it's the responsibility of the state to take care of this, but of course someone does it for them, and instead of giving them a thanks, they give them 18 charges, criminal charges at that. So it's just it's a really, like, I don't know, just like imagine, I can't even compare this to anything. This is so freaking ridiculous. Like holy crap, dude. It's look, well, like I said earlier, there are pastors like Kenneth Copeland who are just leeching off of the the profits of the church to buy private jets. Okay, live luxurious lifestyles. Okay, there are people like that who are just, you know, out in the open, continuously doing it, even though everyone knows that their reasoning for buying jets is complete bullshit. They're running free, but when actual good pastors do something to better the world, like sheltering homeless people, something like this happens. That again, that's just outrageous. Okay, it just goes to show that politicians, government, at least governments in the United States, would rather pursue legal matter over someone doing their job for them. You know what I mean? It's honestly sad, to be honest with you. Like, I don't. It's not like I'm not saying. I can't even, like, nah, I can't even give out. I can't even say anything, to be honest with you. Like something like this baffling is just it's just insanity, to be honest with you. Like I again, imagine imagine punishing a pastor who's doing a job for you, like sheltering the homeless in times of need, especially with, you know, winter. Well, we're still in winter, but like with terrible conditions, like outside being super cold. Imagine charging that person instead of thanking them. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like he's even like wanting attention for it. He just simply said, I don't feel like I should, like, he basically said that I don't feel like I should turn my back on people who need help. Okay, and that's honestly that's a good thing of him to say. That's a good thing for him to do. But again, instead of being he doesn't want to be. I seriously doubt he wants to be rewarded. He just wants to do what's best for these people. But of course, instead of being thanked, he's being charged. So this is one of the few times that where a religious person like a pastor is actually doing the right thing. You know. But of course, doing the right thing is just, you know. Unless you're high up there, with, like, you know, unless you're high up there, like you there are certain things you just can't do, like be a good person.